Today we're going to see how we can scrape Amazon using Python and Beautiful Soup. Okay, it's going to be very quick, very basic tutorial, so it doesn't confuse you. It doesn't get into some tangent about some syntax, but gets you started on Beautiful Soup and on Amazon and getting practical data out of Amazon. So we're going to do one tough thing today, which is getting the reviews out of there. Okay, so it'll give you an understanding of how Beautiful Soup works, the power of Beautiful Soup. It'll also help you understand um, how to use CSS selectors to query data, and then how to iterate through it, how to get a bunch of data um, which are embedded, and then how to push them all to do whatever you want at the end of it, that data. Okay, so we're going to quickly get into it. So here's what we're going to do is, first of all, install Beautiful Soup if we haven't already. The way to install it is, first of all, be on Python 3 for this to work. Make sure that you have Python 3 on your system. So if that's the case, then make sure, if you don't have Beautiful Soup, you can just install it like this: Beautiful Soup 4. Okay, so that should get the job done. As you can see, I already have it. So the other thing that you should do is also install Soupsieve, Soupsieve, which I already installed, so I'm not going to do that. Soupsieve. You'll find all of these in the instructions below the video, so don't have to worry about it right now. Also install requests. These three modules are required. You might require LXML module as well. So if you install all four, that's Beautiful Soup for if you install Soupsieve as well as LXML as well as request module. Okay, so we're going to need all this, and some of you might just, if you install Beautiful Soup 4, should be enough, but it gave me some trouble, so this is what I'm telling you. Okay, so let's just clear this. Now we're going to first of all find what it is. Let's just get into the meat of this. Let's go to Amazon and just find a product which we want to scrape reviews for. So I'm just going to go to the home page and find anything really. I don't know, maybe this one. Yep, why not? So I'm just going to get a wall charger, USB charger. It has, so let's get to the reviews. All right, so we're going to try and get the review data from this. All right, so this is what we are trying to get. We are trying to get, for example, this particular thing. It broke after a few uses. That's not very good. We also probably will get the review text itself. Let's see what we can, and maybe the rating, right? And if time permits, why not the date as well? Okay, so that's what we are trying to do. So first of all, before we start any of this, we need to actually get this particular URL and fetch it as a request using Beautiful Soup. So first of all, let's start with the Beautiful Soup thing. So what we're going to do is, from BS4, that's the library Beautiful Soup 4, we're going to import view, get the spelling right here, okay? Beautiful Soup. Okay, and I would also import requests. Okay, Soupsieve and LXML would have automatically imported just because of Beautiful Soup. Now, one of the things that I know for a fact about um, Mr. Amazon is that it needs to believe this is an actual browser. Until then, it will not send any data. So there's no need for me to actually do that for you and then fail and come back to it. So I'm going to add that. So what we're going to do is, we're going to pass a header. We can pass and we'll have to pass a user agent string. The user agent string is the one that tells the Amazon web server that we are actually a browser. All right, so we're going to send the user agent string like so. Okay, here we're going to say we are Chrome. Okay, but instead of saying it like this, we're going to find out exactly. So user agent string is a string that every browser sends to the web server to let the web server know what it is that it needs to serve based on the environment the person is in. So if it's an iPad, if it's an iPhone, if it's an Android phone, all these things are contained in this particular user agent string. Okay, it's a norm that they've been using so that they can serve customized content. It also tells the operating system and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go and actually get a list of user agent strings. There is a website, device atlas, which lists a lot of user agent strings, as you can see, for a Samsung Galaxy, blah blah blah. So already I decided that we're gonna pretend to be this. We're gonna pretend to be Mac OS based Safari browser. Okay, so that's what it stands. This strange looking string. We're gonna copy it and paste it over here. And this is something that Amazon recognizes, so it will respond because of this. Okay, so then we're gonna set the URL parameter. Let's just get the URL that we just decided on, which is the Amazon charger, whatever charger that is. So here we go. We're gonna paste that URL, whoa, long one, and then we are going to get into actually calling it. So the way to do it is use the requests, uh, the module that we have imported, request dot get. Very simple. Here you're going to pass the URL as well as the headers. The headers parameter takes the headers variable in this case. There we go. That's what you can see that it's highlighted. So all of this should get into, it'll give us a response immediately. Let's just write the response over here. And that's the variable that takes in the response. Here we can just quickly test it if you want. We can just do a print of the response so that you know you're going to call the text part of this so that it can print the response. Let's see, before we proceed, let's call it something. Let's call it Amazon beautiful soup or something .py. Okay, so I'm going to now run it. Let's see what happens. Python 3 Amazon BS, not for bullshit, .py, and unless this doesn't work, then it is bullshit. But here we go. It's printed out a bunch of this. I'm assuming this is the HTML page. It seems like it. And that's a successful request. All right. So now we don't need that gibberish. What we're going to do is go back to Chrome now and be a little tricky. We're going to get we're going to see how we can pick the data out of here. Okay, so we're going to use CSS selectors like I told you. So that's where the soup sieve comes in. Okay, it's an extension of beautiful soup, brilliant library. So what we'll do is we'll use the sort of the inspect tool in Chrome, and so right click on the data we want and press inspect, and then you will see here we'll have to pay a lot of attention. Okay, so for example, here you can see that this particular it broke after a few users is embedded inside a class. There you go. You can see review title as a data hook, but if you look at the class, it also has review title inside of it. It also has all sorts of other weird stuff, which tells what size it is probably, and that is a link, and it's a color base, and it's bold text and all that, which is all internal information. But the most meaningful word here is review title. Common sense tells me that that won't change. The rest might change. That may not change. So what we're going to do is we can call it by any of these classes. I'm just going to copy that and paste it here for a second so I'm not confused, and take the rest of it out. I'll just take that out. There you go. Take this out, take that out, take all of this out. We're just going to keep this for a second out here, okay? And now we're going to invoke the beautiful soup, um, uh, and the CSS selectors inside the beautiful soup. Okay, so here's how we are going to do that. We're going to say beautiful soup. Oops, that's a big name. Probably I should have changed it. Okay, so here we are going to say response. The response variable has everything in it, and we are going to soup it. Okay, it does its magic where it breaks down all of this. In what way? Okay, response dot content. Obviously it's not just response. It uses the method of breaking down is lxml. Okay, that's what we are ordering beautiful soup to do, and that whole soup can be passed to the variable soup. Why not? Okay, so we don't have to keep typing beautiful soup again, just have to type soup. And here we're going to use, so here we can start invoking the the select function, which is the selector. Okay, this is the CSS selectors. So if you are familiar with jQuery, anything you can do with jQuery you can do here. For example, if you have an ID somewhere and you want to call the ID of that division, any cell, any element with a particular ID, you can just call it. You can call it, let's say, my form or something like that, if you want to call that form and get that data. Okay, and I think it's called extract. No, that's I'm thinking scrapey here. Give me a moment to shift my mindset. It's get text, right? Get text will give us the data. Okay, so here it's going to keep that. I'm not going to use an ID selector. I'm going to use a class selector, which is the review title. Okay, here we go. So get text is what I'm going to call and get that out of there, and then I'm going to run it. I know I've done a mistake here, but I'm still going to run it, guys, so that we highlight how beautiful soup works. Okay, so I'm going to call this review title because that is, let's pass it into a variable called review title, and let's just print what happens here. Print review title. Okay, so I've stopped printing response text. It should directly give me review title, and this is going to fail, and I'm going to tell you what happens. There's an important thing for you to see. Yes. Oops, for example, first of all, that's not context, I'm talking about content. All right, sorry about that. It'll still fail. Let's see. Here we go. It says here that when I said object has no attribute get text, you probably try treating a list of elements like a single element. That means this is a list of elements. You see? And so instead of calling get text on a bunch of reviews, because remember there are a bunch of reviews, it's not just one review. So it is taking all reviews. This is great for us actually, even though this is an error. We know that just calling this gets you everything. So it's an array of reviews, isn't it? Review titles. So what if I just do call the first element of the array? Will I be able to get the review title of the first element? Save. Let's see. It's very exciting stuff. Here we go. It broke after a few users. This is famous review, which we are already familiar with. Is there you go. Now, I think we are getting into this a little bit, right? So we know now that review title, when you call that, it's going to give you everything, all the review titles. And if I just do probably one, let's do it as a test, guys. Okay? You should probably skip one and give me the second one, which I'm pretty confident it'll. Here we go. Wow. It says wow. Okay, and let's just double check if that's, yes, that's the second review. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to run and get all of them. So we can just do, by now you'll be thinking ahead, right? And we can just now do a for each in all of this and get us all the data. But then we need Here's the problem. Having done this many times, I'm anticipating what will happen next, so I'm not going to take you through this whole trial and error method. I'm just going to give it to you right now. Okay. So which is we're going to do a for each, right? In and select all of these items and print that out. But instead of going review title that granular, can we find some sort of encapsulating class, maybe a division which holds all reviews together in one place? Okay, so that's my hunt now, just going on intuition over here. So if I just sort of look at this, if I just there you go, if I just sort of mouse over here, you can already see that this encapsulates the entire top portion, who said that review, okay, who made the review, and this I think encapsulates quite a big piece of the review. Okay, so if you can see the divisions here, you can see that it's sort of okay. We got to make some more space for ourselves, because I don't want something which takes the entire review sections, all the reviews together. I just want something that covers. There you go. It stops there. You can see that it stops right after the first review, and so each review has, you can say, okay, there you go, it stops. It doesn't cover Benjamin Williams at the bottom, at the very bottom. Only the review by Brittany is covered. If I just can get this particular division, then I can deal with whatever is inside of it. So that, because then we can piece, each piece of that review can then be picked apart. And this is the piece, this is a big piece of meat we need. So here we go. So we can take this, and if you look at this A section, AOK relative, the most meaningful one is the review class. So I'm just going to copy that and take that away. And as an experiment here, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to just see if I can print just review class. Okay, remove this and then print review whole. Maybe we'll call it that. While review whole, and then print the entire review whole. Right? This should print everything inside that review. Okay, I'm going to take the review title off so that we don't get confused. That's not useful, but we're just testing, and we're going to print the first review. Okay, the entire piece. Let's see if our assumption is right there. Yeah, I think so. Okay, so if you look at it, it says wow, and no, not wow. It says Brittany. Brittany is the one who it broke after a few users. That's the first review, and all this content it does, and you can see all the HTML is removed. That's because we're using the word get text, by the way. Okay, so we're not going to use it. And if I remove the 0, and if I just run through all the reviews, I'll get all the reviews. You know what I mean? I'm just going to say that again. If you look at it, what I've done is taken the review as a whole, and which has all sorts of data in it, and put that in an array, so that then I can go inside that review division and then pick out the headline, pick out the date, pick out the number of stars it's gotten, and all those other details. Okay, so to test that theory, I asked for the first review inside it, which is a 0 because it's an array, and asked for the text, and it printed the whole text. Okay, this again is not useful for us. So what we're going to now do is we're going to do something else. We're going to get the whole review and run through it as a bunch of items. So we're going to do for item in for each, this is right, for each item in soup.select. We'll just take this out. Okay, soup.select review. Let's this not be confusing. I'm just going to comment this out. We don't need any of this. These are all tests that we're doing. Okay, so here we go. And here I'm going to print. Let's see if we can get the review title out. Okay, so we already know the review title lies inside of this in this format. All right, so I'm going to print the item has all the this individual review rather than the first review. Okay, and I'm going to do a select on it because Now I'll do a CSS selector again on it, and I'm looking for dot review title, the title of the review inside the whole review piece. Okay, and I'm going to look for it, and I'm going to get the text of it. Get text. Okay, and now all of this, what do I do? I'll try and print this. Okay, so what it should do is run through the bunch of reviews and take the review title and print that. So if we should see a series of review titles, but there might be a little tricky. This might fail us. Let's just see. Okay, here we go. But we're on the right track, even if it does fail us. All right, again it says result set object has no attribute get text. You're probably treating a list of elements like a single element. Did you call find all when you meant to call find? All right, so this is what this is. It says you're trying to get the text of something which could have multiple, even though a review title is only one in this particular review. But Beautiful Soup doesn't know that. There's no way of knowing that. So they cannot code it like that. So they want to give you an array. And if it is just one piece in the array, that's well and good. So it will be one. So we're going to put 0. It's an array. So we're just going to get the first element of the array. And let's see now if it prints. Let's clear this, can we? Clear. And then now let's just print again to see only the review headline this should give us. What did I do now? Do list index out of range. Review title, and get text of 0. How can this be an error? Is this because I've already called it here? I'm just going to close that there. And I'm just going to hold it here. And get text. It should be okay now. It's a very strange thing that just happened. Dot review title. What is the error that I've done here? In item, print item dot select. Then I'm going to do a review title. Get text. Let's see if this still holds. Okay, I think what's happening is Amazon might have blocked us a little bit. Then we'll have to do something here. Review title. Okay, guys, don't worry, I have a workaround for that. If that's the case. Review title is not defined, so I'm going to put that here a little bit. Sorry about that. Unexpected. No, this is fine. This seems to be fine. Print review whole. Okay, that's it. I'm just going to remove all of this. Okay, and I am going to try and say item dot select again. Maybe in all of this, I got a bit confused with the number of brackets lying around. Okay, so let's just find if there is inside the review, what is it that we need review title, is it? Let's try and find the date for a second. Okay, I'll just come back to review title. I'm just going to go the date. Yeah, review date. Okay, so I'm going to pick up review date, just like soup.select review date dot review date. All right, and I'm going to go of 0 dot get text. Oh, okay, I'm not even going to print it. Let's just see if this creates any issues for now. Item dot select. Yes, is very strange indeed. Mm-hmm. Let me double check this. Item in soup dot select dot review. I think I know what's happening here. I think it's because sometimes the last element might just gonna put a try catch and see what happens. Try let's see. Let's do a try except, right? Right. Raise E, and instead of raising it, I'm gonna subdue this a bit. I'm gonna print something. Let's just see this. Yes, so I think that's what is happening. I'm just going to do a print here because one of those items at the end might be creating an issue here. Here we go, guys. Yes, live debugging. Okay, so that's what happened. At the end of it, it throws an error, but otherwise it shows you the dates. All right, so let's now go back and put the review title here. So we already got the review date. I'm just going to put review title. Okay, let's clean all of this up, guys. We don't need, otherwise we get confused, isn't it? Look how simple this code is. Review title. Let's just do that, and then we go on a rampage and get everything else. Here we go. Look at that. It broke after a few users. When was it? November 28th. Then wow, November 28th. Great for iPhone 8, November, October 24th. Blah blah blah. Okay, let's get a few more. Let's go back here. What about the rating? Okay, let's see if we can get the rating. How about that? Here we go. So if I look at it, review rating. Okay, you can see the class name a star 5 blah blah blah, but then it has a very simple class called review rating. So I'm just gonna type that in over here. What date and what is the rating? Review rating. Okay, and let's also get the review itself. Inspect, and if you look at the entire review here, it has a beautiful name called review capital T text, review text. Let's just go get review text. So copy and paste this. Review text. All right. Let's go more. Why don't we get the name of the person who wrote the review? What if we need the name? Profile, content, and then inside that profile name. So I'm just going to copy that. And wait, first of all, let me copy this and then remove this and just get the class a profile name. A profile name. Okay, and let's print this. Boom. Here we go. Isn't this amazing? Okay, so just to make sense out of this a little better, what I'm going to do is print, because I think it's all jumbled a little bit. Print, um, I'm going to print a big line over here and another here. Let's get, here we go. Okay, so you can see here that this is the review title, the date, and if you look at it, that's exactly what we wanted. 1 out of 5 stars is a review rating, the exact review itself, full text, as well as who wrote the review. Then it continues. Isn't that amazing, guys? And you can save it to your file, whatever you want to do. All right, finally. Okay, so one last thing, we're not done yet. You might have an issue with this eventually. When you scrape Amazon a lot, you're going to see that even user agent string spoofing, all of that is not going to help, because at the end of the day, Amazon can tell you're coming from the same IP address. I was always nervous all through this video because I thought it might block um, the request because we're doing so many times. So, and it does pretty often. And if you scale it to a few thousand, automatically it'll block you out completely. So if you really want to run this in production level, you will need to put in measures where you'll automatically rotate these things from an array, right? First of all, and even that's not enough. You will need a proxy server. You need some proxies. You can't just use 2, 3 IPs. You can't keep restarting a router to change the IP. That won't cut it, right? So then you will definitely need a professional rotating proxy service. Like I run one, so I have something here to tell you. I'm really awkward about this, but that's a true extension of what truly web scraping is, if you really want to do it seriously. If you don't, if it's just a hobby thing, if you are trying to get a few hundred pages, I think this should be enough. You can stop here, that's the end of it. But otherwise, you should definitely get a rotating proxy service where we pass your requests through literally millions. We have more than 2 million IP addresses, which are residential IPs, private and anonymous, completely secure IPs that we prune for high speeds. And all you got to do is use a simple API call, for example. Instead of calling Amazon directly, instead of example.com, you've got to pass the Amazon URL that you need as a parameter itself to our API endpoint with the API key, of course, right? Which you can get by just doing a free sign up without even a credit card. You'll get it in 2 minutes. You'll get 1,000 API calls free per month, and you don't have to do anything. And just calling it. So what you're going to do is replace api.proxiesapi.com over here with your API key and then call Amazon. And everything else remains the same, except that we automatically, we don't you don't even have to pass the headers after that. We automatically pass the headers anyway. You can override it, but then we rotate it, we keep it the latest, and we also rotate and retry automatically in case a proxy for some reason fails. We will You won't even know it because we'll rotate it so fast that you will get your results. So basically, IP blocks will completely stop, and any sort of reusage restriction also completely stops, because you can run this in multiple threads if you want. You can create multiple, um, you can it supports all those things up to 10 threads if you want. Even if you buy the pro plan, it's up to 25 threads, or you can even increase it to 100 threads if you want on request. All of this is possible, and we automate even captcha challenges. We uh, automatically solve it behind the scenes, using machine learning algorithms, and then you won't even know that we've done that. So you should, if you want to really scale web scraping, you should consider rotating proxy services seriously. Otherwise, just go ahead and use this. I'm very happy that we were able to solve a lot of issues live today. Um, and otherwise, please go to proxiesapi.com and sign up. Why not? Thank you.